like to welcome the audience to the February 18th, 2020 Parish Planning and Zoning Board meeting. Before I go any further, I want to announce that the case David Rivero on Constance Lane has been withdrawn. So if you're here for the case on Constance Lane, it has been withdrawn. Okay. Would you all please stand while Mr. LaSalle Williams says the invocation and pledge of allegiance?
Yeah. Gracious God, we thank you for allowing us to see another blessed day. Thank you for life, health, and strength. And we ask that your presence be in this meeting tonight, and we pray a blessing upon the board and also the staff. And we ask for special blessing upon those who have come tonight to seek our help, that the Holy Spirit guide and lead us, that we might do that which is right in your sight. This we offer as our prayer this night in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize a few folks in the audience. Calcasieu Parish Sheriff Tony Mancuso, thank you for joining us. And Mr. Ashton Richard, a police juror from Ward 1. Thank you for coming tonight. Mr. Crane?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I want to welcome tonight Mr. Keith Dubrock. He has recently been appointed by the police jury to serve on this planning commission, planning and zoning board. Mr. Dubrock has taken Mr. Randy Armitar's place. The districts, I had to look up, actually, Jennifer looked it up for me. Had to see. It's he represents wards 2, 8, and precincts 360, 361, and a portion of 313 east of Ward 3. And if Mr. Dubrock, he wants to say anything, we welcome you.
Just glad to be here and want to serve if I can. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for joining us. Ms. Christie, would you call the roll, please?
Chair Kirk Smith,
Here.
Vice Chair Julia Dickerson,
Here.
Miss Latricia Cobb,
Here.
Mr. Keith Dubrock,
Here.
Mr. Art Little,
Here.
Miss Sharon Galicia,
Here.
Miss Janelle Hyatt, Mr. Kyle Link, Mr. Jake Porsche,
Here.
Mr. Gary Navarre,
Here.
and Mr. LaSalle Williams.
Yeah.
This is an 11-member board. It will take the majority of those members present to grant or deny any request heard tonight. The chair will refrain from voting unless the vote might affect the outcome. The meeting will be conducted with me reading the request from the agenda. The planning staff will give a presentation and report their recommendations. If the applicant would like to add to the staff's presentation, or if someone from the audience has comments, please come to the microphone and state your name, address, and the nature of your request. All persons wishing to speak other than the applicants need to fill out a blue request to appear form located in the back of this room. The form must be given to a staff member prior to the reading of the agenda item. As required by this board's bylaws, in all cases, the proponents will be limited to 10 minutes. Opponents will be granted 10 minutes as well, with each speaker allowed no more than 3 minutes. I recommend that a spokesperson be selected if there's a large group wanting to speak on the same agenda item. If 4 or more speaker request forms are submitted, the time allowed for the individual speakers will be limited based upon the number of forms submitted. The chair has the right to limit the speakers who present redundant information or personal attacks. In unique situations, the chair may extend or the board may vote to extend the time allotted to speakers. After discussion, the board will vote on each request. I will announce the decision of the board after the vote. The exception, variances, and preliminary subdivision approval are final tonight. The rezoning cases will go before the police jury for final action on February 20th, 2020 at 5:30 p.m. This meeting is being filmed by the Calcasieu Parish Government Channel and can be viewed on Wednesdays and Thursdays following the meeting. For additional run dates, check the website at www.cppj.net. Channel 5 in Lake Charles, Sulphur, Moss Bluff, Westlake, Vinton, DeQuincy, and Gillis, Channel 99 in Corliss and Grand Lake. Please either turn off or silence all electronic devices. Take appropriate action to approve the minutes of January 21st, 2020 Planning and Zoning meeting. I will entertain a motion for approval.
So move.
Moved by Mr. Navarre, second by Coach Williams. All those in favor, state aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Next item, take appropriate action on SUB 119-0127, a request by CKX Lands Incorporated for preliminary subdivision approval to allow a residential development, 17 lots in Big Woods subdivision located in the 500 block of Big Woods, Vinton Road in Ward 5. I will entertain a motion for approval with conditions.
So move.
Moved by Ms. Cobb, second by Mr. Little. Ms. Tunn.
This property is located in the Vinton area and encompasses approximately 407 acres of agricultural zone land. CKX Lands intends to develop a 17-lot subdivision with the minimum lot size being 9 acres and the largest lot size being 224 acres. Because the development meets the requirements of agricultural zoning, the staff recommends the request be granted with the following conditions: that the development is subject to an application for and/or compliance with the LPDES stormwater discharge permit, which may be required through the Department of Environmental Quality and the Calcasieu Parish Division of Planning and Development, and the preliminary plat and runoff management plan must be approved by the Division of Engineering prior to submittal of final plans.
Thank you, Ms. Tunn. Does the applicant have anything to add?
Mr. Chairman, David Minton, 4310 Ryan Street, Lake Charles, Louisiana. Really, it's a very simple project they're wanting to do. It's a very large parcel. They're wanting to split up into ranch-style large lots. 10 acres, I believe, being the smallest, up to 50 acres for some of the large lots. So I'm just really here to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Do any of the board members have any questions, items of discussion on this particular item? There being none and no blue cards, all those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Next item, take appropriate action on VAR-1019-0112, a request by Cade Crier for a variance to allow 2 lots with less than required lot square footage. Required 43,560 square feet each lot, requesting 20,000 square feet each lot at 3137 Topsy Road in Ward 1. I will entertain a motion for approval with conditions.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Navarre,
Second.
second by Ms. Hyatt. Ms. Tunn?
This property is located in the Topsy area and encompasses 1 acre of agricultural zone land. Currently, the property is vacant. The applicant is requesting to allow 2 lots with less than required lot square footage. The applicant intends to divide the property into 2 lots in order to place a dwelling on each. Because the proposed density is not consistent with the character of the area, the staff recommends the request be denied. Should the board grant the request, the staff recommends the condition that the development adhere to the site plan on file with the Division of Planning and Development, provided that the director or designee may authorize adjustments to the site plan in light of technical or engineering considerations discovered during development.
Thank you, Ms. Tunn. Does the applicant have anything to add to this?
Robin Bissoni, 1010 Lakeland Drive, Lake Charles. I'm representing the applicant, Cade Crier. It is our understanding that, in accordance with law, if we would submit this for an in-house administrative review and indicate that we wanted to use 1 wastewater treatment system to serve the 2 residences, that it could possibly be approved by them with the 1 sewer system. So if it's a wastewater question, we've received several points from a licensed manufacturer of wastewater that indicates why an individual system for each would be better. And the size of each lot we're proposing is well within the size approved by Louisiana Department of Health for a wastewater treatment system permit. Some of those points are the wastewater treatment system aerator would require to be connected to one of the meters. If we had two separate residents, who would pay for the power to run the separate system, the meter for the sewer system? There are other factors about absorption of the effluent discharge in the required absorption field and those kinds of things. So if it's a wastewater question, we think it's better to have the property divided in a system for each cottage.
Staff have anything to offer?
Do you have a question for me?
No, well,
I do. I can raise it. Is that the issue? Is it a wastewater issue?
Well,
Or
I
is
think
it a
that's-
lot size, or
Well,
is it?
I think that was one of the issues that we had, but we did a survey of the area and looked at the lot sizes in that general area. I think we do,
Have it on,
if y'all can put that up on the screen. So we're looking at, the division of property in that area as well. Ms. Bissoni is correct. I mean, they could, if they put one system in under our ordinance, that is considered a community system. And so it would allow for them to make application for an administrative review. Doesn't mean they'll get it approved, but it does allow them to do that. So again, that was one of the issues that we looked at. But we did look at it in terms of we did a survey of the lots in that general area just to see how big those lots are.
The smallest one's 0.88 acres, and this would be half an acre each?
Yeah, I think so.
half acre.
Less than
Less than
half.
half acre.
Mr. Navarre?
But technically, she don't have enough property for one. It requires 4,300, and she's got 43,560, and she don't have but 40,000 square feet.
I'm not sure, what was the size of the lot?
They got two lots at 20,000 each, that's 40,000.
Yeah, well,
1,000.
yeah,
But
it's there though. I mean, it's an
Grandfathered.
existing lot of record.
I understand that, but
Right.
technically, she don't have enough but for one. She don't even have enough
That's
for one,
true.
really.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're going by what is required, and
Yeah, but today,
and
I
I
mean,
think putting two lots, and everybody else got big lots,
Yeah.
you're gonna open a can of worms.
well, that's what we looked at, and it's an existing lot of record. So they have a right to come in and get a permit for one unit on
Right,
that lot.
right.
That's right.
I don't think anybody complained about, 3,500 square feet short.
Right.
But the other neighbors, they gonna, they have big lots and they don't want, they're not gonna want any small lots in there.
Yeah. Well, and our whole, on a parish-wide basis, we're trying to reduce the number of individual, mechanical systems and things like that. So,
Right.
I mean, they're still going to be allowed, but we're trying to reduce that number. So that's why if you put it on one system as a community, and we've done that before, we've approved those kind of systems before. They create a little, like a homeowners association,
Yeah.
and they set it up where it's paid for, and that way and maintained.
But she was saying, about the electricity to run a mechanical system, that ain't enough to amount to nothing.
Well, and how they work that, I'm not sure. I mean,
Yeah.
you could put a meter on it or something, an individual meter
Yeah.
on it and separate it.
Well.
Or split the cost. I don't know how you do it.
Boucher?
So, I guess my question's for staff. So, if to do an internal review, they would have to basically come as a two-home subdivision for approval to subdivide, have a commercial community sewer system, a homeowners association that would split the dues and the cost, or the developer would put in the system, sell the two lots, then they're now a subdivision with HOA fees to pay the electricity, and that's basically what they would be doing. I guess my question is that something, are we getting off in the weeds on that if the fact that the staff who would do an internal review are claiming it's a density issue, not a sewer issue, correct?
Well, I think it's both. I mean,
Right.
yeah.
So I guess my question to staff is, if it's a density issue, it's a density issue, whether it's 2 mechanical systems or 1 commercial. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Sure.
Yeah,
All right.
sure. But we have to look at both of that.
I understand.
You know, in order to receive it under administrative review,
Right,
that's a way that could be submitted like that.
right.
I'm saying, I don't know whether it'd be approved or not. I'm just
Right.
saying that's how it could be submitted.
But it possibly wouldn't be approved just due to the density and not in keeping with the area.
Right.
Right, okay. That was my question.
Ms. Bissoni, Mr. Porsche brought up a point. I just want to make sure I understand. Is the intent to sell or is the intent to rent?
The intent is to rent.
Okay.
Okay.
So rather than a homeowners association, in this case, the owner of the rental could create their own situation where they bill for that.
Exactly.
Okay.
The intent is to rent. Up on the upper right-hand corner of that picture there, 3521 Topsy, that's a pretty small lot. Is that right, Ms. Ton? That 3521 I'm showing is 0.55 acres.
Yeah, there's some properties in that general area right there, not too many, that were created many, many years ago. And so they're grandfathered in, just like this particular lot was. It's a grandfather lot.
Any other questions?
Is there any opposition?
No. No. Any questions for Ms. Bissoni? Ms. Christie, roll call vote.
Mr. Navarre,
No.
Ms. Cobb,
No.
Mr. Porsche,
No.
Mr. Williams, Mr. Little,
No.
Ms. Hyatt, Ms. Galicia,
Yes.
Ms. Dickerson, Mr. Dubrock,
No.
1 for and 8 against.
Motion fails. Next item on the agenda, take appropriate action on VAR-1219-0116, a request by Bourgeois and Harrod LLC for a variance to increase the density requirements, allowed 6 units, requesting 12 units, at 5712 Noby Lane in Ward 3. I will entertain a motion for approval with conditions. Motion by Mr. Williams, second by Ms. Cobb. Ms. Dunn?
This property is located in the South Lake Charles area and encompasses .92 acres. Last month, the board approved a zoning request to rezone this property to multifamily to allow 3 duplexes. At this time, the applicant is requesting a variance to increase the density requirements to allow 6 duplexes. Because the proposed density is consistent with the character of the area, the staff recommends the request be granted with the following conditions: that the development adhere to the site plan on file with the Division of Planning and Development, provided that the director or designee may authorize adjustments to the site plan in light of technical or engineering considerations discovered during development, and that the development adhere to the building elevations on file with the Division of Planning and Development.
Dunn? Does the applicant have anything to offer for this? Don't? Okay. Oh, you do?
My name is Leo Bourgeois, 5710 Hemlock Street. Do y'all have any questions about it?
Porsche?
Just a general question. It's hard for me to make out the parking spaces per unit. Is it 4 per duplex?
4, yes, sir.
Okay.
Four
I was-
spots per unit.
Just curious.
Yes, sir.
I was trying to make it out. That's all I have.
Thank you. We do have one blue card. Aranya Hires.
Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Aranya Hai. I'm reside at 5747 Noble Lane. I have gathered more than a dozen of neighbor that signed a petition opposing the request for 12 unit. Is it 12 unit, right? Okay. So okay. The housing on Noble Lane is comprised of mixed residential ranging from single-family home that is either brick, wood, or mobile home. In the past few years, there had been a revitalization and increased accessibility to house by the developer, resulting several duplex had been built on Noble Lane. So this unit have been built to conform to the general area of Noble Lane. I have noticed that there are 4 units on this half-acre lot. Okay, there's 4 units on half-acre lot. So, and also the residential, according to because the proposed density is consistent in the character of the area south of Hamlet is all residential. It's a Creswell subdivision, and also southeast of it, it's also a single-family home, and it's lot. So not all, those will be also affected by building 12 units of apartment in this area. So my concern is the congestion on this lot, because it had been, so far it had been the duplex on half-acre lot, and this is a 0.92 acre. 12 unit might be just too much. So I'm asking for you to reconsider it, and I'm asking Mr. Bourgeois and Harold to reconsider, maybe reduce the 12 unit that is requested to maybe 6 to 8. So, just reevaluate it. So I have those as I gather the petition from the neighborhood. Okay, thank you so much.
Mr. Bourgeois.
We put the entrance to the property is going to be off of Hammereed, so we won't be congesting up Nobe. It'll be a privacy fence along Nobe to adhere with the rezoning, and then so we'll actually, the properties will go onto Hammereed Road, so not onto Nobe as far as the congestion issue with that.
You have something, Mr. Crane?
Mr. Chair, the photograph that you're seeing on the screen here, if you look to the west, there's several duplexes, developments that are happening, and even down Noble Lane. Even to the east, there's some duplex development that's much denser than this. And so that's why we felt like it was consistent. It's also in the urban service area, which is really where, we want urbanization to happen. And especially in this South Ward 3 area, that's where you're starting to see some of this type of development happening. So it's sort of a natural thing that these properties are starting to, the single-family homes are starting to go away, and you're getting a little bit more density in those areas. So that's why we felt like it was consistent.
Any of the board members have anything to?
No, I know we don't care what the city does, but it's close to that line.
It is.
I believe the density for the city is 12 units per acre without any sort of zoning hearing. So
and that's
right
why I'm
there.
saying I pay a little bit of attention to that, of course. And so knowing that it's in that close vicinity, I
Sure.
mean, obviously, this is an area that is sort of prime for annexation.
Sure.
And if you look at the city ordinance, which I have looked at,
Correct.
it would
It's 12
allow
units
for
per
that.
acre. That's
Yeah,
right.
so-
Yep.
Any other board members have any input on this? There being none, Ms. Christie, roll call vote.
Yes.
Mr. Navar,
Yes.
Ms. Galicia,
Yes.
Ms. Cobb, Mr. Porsche,
Yes.
Ms. Dickerson,
Yes.
Ms. Hyatt, Mr. Williams.
Yes,
Did you say yes?
yes.
Mr. Dubrock?
Yes.
9 for.
Motion passes. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 9. Take appropriate action on VAR-0120-0119, a request by Randall Richard Edux for a variance to remove the screening or fencing requirements per Section 26 through 50 of the Parish Code of Ordinance at 1919 Shoepick Road in Ward 4. I will entertain a motion for approval with conditions. Motion by Mr. Williams, a second by Ms. Cobb. Ms. Tunn.
This property is located in the Carlos area and encompasses approximately 1 acre of land. The applicant intends to build a metal building to be used as a crawfish boiling go on their property. The parish code requires screening or fencing when a commercial use abuts a residential use. Because minimal impacts are to be expected, the staff recommends the request be granted with the following conditions: that the development adhere to the site plan on file with the Division of Planning and Development, provided that the director or designee may authorize adjustments to the site plan in light of technical or engineering considerations discovered during development, that all exterior lighting must be oriented inward toward the development and the light source cannot be visible to the adjacent properties, that permitting is subject to approval from Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development, that a runoff management plan will be required unless appropriate waiver is granted by the Division of Engineering. We received a written letter from the neighbor. It's downloaded onto your tablets requesting that the screening not be placed in, on the west property line.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Tunn. Does the applicant have anything to offer?
No.
No? Okay. Do any of the board members have any questions for the applicant regarding this matter? We have no blue cards.
The screening, 5 years from now, this property's sold, and it looks like it could be a convenience store according to the plans and whatnot. What does that do with, once we decide we will do away with the screening, it's gone from this piece of property?
Well, I think this is associated with this particular project here.
It would alter the site plan.
Yeah, it would, Mr. Gav said it would alter the site plan. So if we tie it to that, then there may be a requirement for that. So, the property is zoned commercial, so they could
Right.
put a
Sure.
different type of commercial there.
Correct.
Again, nobody has any questions or anything? No blue cards in place? All those in favor, state aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Okay, item 11. I'm sorry, item 10. Take appropriate action on RZ-0120-0157, a request by Gazino Land LLC to rezone from light industrial I-1 to heavy industrial I-2 to allow heavy industrial development, ready-mix concrete batch plant, and concrete recycling facility in the 3200 block of Elliswood Drive in Ward 4. I will entertain a motion to recommend approval with conditions.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Navar, second by Ms. Hyatt. Ms. Tunn?
This property is located in the Sulphur area and encompasses approximately 5.4 acres. The applicant intends to stockpile concrete, dirt, and rock for a future interstate project. Therefore, he's requesting to rezone the property to heavy industrial to allow a ready-mix concrete batch plant and a concrete recycling facility. Because the proposed zoning is consistent with the character of the area, the staff recommends the request be granted with the following conditions. That the development adhere to the site plan on file with the Division of Planning and Development, provided that the director or designee may authorize adjustments to the site plan in light of technical or engineering considerations discovered during development. That all exterior lighting must be oriented inward toward the development and the light source cannot be visible to the adjacent properties. That the development adhere to stormwater best management practices, and that a runoff management plan will be required unless appropriate waiver is granted by the Division of Engineering.
Thank you, Ms. Tunn. Does the applicant have anything to present?
No, I don't. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Thanks for the
Philip
record.
Gazino, 4319 Edgewater Drive, Lake Charles.
Board members have any questions or comments for Mr. Gazino? Thank you, sir. No blue cards in opposition?
I do have a question for the staff in regards to the, is there anything in this zoning that allows, what's the operation or times on this particular piece of property? The reason I'm asking, I know 100 yards to the southwest, there's a 400 or 500 mobile home park. To the west, almost the same, there's a big subdivision. Is there any allowances in here for operational times? Or this thing can run 24/7 if need be?
I think there's something in yeah, under the noise ordinance.
Okay.
There's a provision under there
Okay,
that
that's what I
talks
was
about
asking for.
hours of operations
Yes.
and everything. So there's something that we don't have to put it as a condition.
Right,
So-
okay. That's what I was wondering.
Yes,
There
sir.
is something to protect them.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
We have no blue cards on this particular item. Any other discussion on this? If there being none, all those in favor state aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Motion passes. Item number 11, take appropriate action on RZ-0120-0158, a request by Omentor Ventures LLC to amend ordinance number 4988, RZ02-039-05, to remove stipulation number 5 that all alcohol sales are prohibited at 4865 Highway 397 in Ward 2. I will entertain a motion to recommend approval with conditions. Motion by Ms. Cobb, second by Ms. Hyatt. Ms. Tunn?
This property is located in the Manchester area and encompasses approximately 1 acre of land. In 2005, this property was rezoned to light industrial to allow a light industrial park, and at that time, the board placed a condition that all alcohol sales were prohibited. At this time, the applicant is requesting that the condition be removed to allow him to operate his restaurant with alcohol, the sales of alcohol. Because minimal impacts are to be expected, the staff recommends the request be granted with the following conditions: that the development adhere to the site plan on file with the Division of Planning and Development, provided that the director or designee may authorize adjustments to the site plan in light of technical or engineering considerations discovered during development, that all signs must be low-profile monument signs, that a dumpster and all storage areas must be in the rear and within a enclosed 6-foot wooden privacy fence, that all buildings must have a facade that is non-metal, that all lots must have landscaping, and that lounges are prohibited.
Thank you, Ms. Tunn. Does the applicant have anything to offer with this? No? Thank you, sir. Do any of the members of the board have any questions or comments regarding this request? There being none, all those in favor state aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Item number 12. The next item on the agenda is to advise that the police jury took the following action on January 23rd, 2020, with reference to the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Board from the January 21st, 2020 meeting. Mitigation Group, Sections 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, and 11, Township 8 South, Range 9 West, Planning and Zoning recommended approval, police jury approved. Nick Morrison, Highway 14 East, Planning and Zoning recommended approval, police jury approved. His heirs, Highway 27, Planning and Zoning recommended approval, police jury approved. Bourgeois and Harrod, Noby Lane, Planning and Zoning recommended approval, police jury approved. White and McCown, Pujol Road, Planning and Zoning recommended approval, police jury approved. The next item on the agenda is to advise that the next regularly scheduled Planning and Zoning meeting will be held Tuesday, March 17th, 2020, in the police jury meeting room. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Navarre,
Mr. Chairman.
second by Ms. Kyle.
Before we close, I got a, not a question, but a comment for the staff. I noticed I don't have all this fancy stuff, email and all that. Agenda for every meeting. And I think that was nice. I guess they've been sending it out, but I never noticed it. I got one for every meeting scheduled in my packet. Did y'all get that?
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Thank Ms.
Thanks,
Christie.
Hey, all those in favor of adjournment, state aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. Meeting